Hi, and welcome to this Coach Award Provider Hot Topic, where we're going to be exploring the moderate whitewater definition and how this impacts on Coach Award assessment, particularly for whitewater canoe, whitewater kayak, and SUP. We want to add some clarity around what rivers would be suitable for running Coach Award assessments in that moderate whitewater environment. The British Canoeing definition of moderate whitewater is grade 2. The overall standard of the run is grade 2, but that there may be one or two grade 3 rapids that could be portaged if required. Now, this impacts on all elements of the course: coaching, personal skills, and rescues. In all elements of assessment, upper limits of that environment are required. For coaches, they need to have the option of coaching in the upper limits of the stated environment. They need to be able to perform rescues and demonstrate effective and efficient personal skills in the upper limits of the environment. Now, because the grade 3 element in that definition says it can be portaged if required, this has led to some confusion about its place within the Coach Award requirement. So I wanted to confirm that when we're talking about the upper limits of moderate whitewater, we can interpret that in the context of Coach Award assessment as grade 2, using with water at the harder end of the grade, rapids at the harder end of the grade. It is okay to use grade 3 because this is still within remit. So let's look at those different elements and see what that actually means in reality. So the tutor and assessor notes state that venues are selected for the coaching element based on the needs of the student. It's reasonable to expect our coaches' repertoire to include all environments in the definition, and that they should have the option of coaching in the upper limits of that environment. So upper limit, good grade 2. So mock, really important point here is that the mock students are suitable for being coached in grade 2 for most of the time. That would lead to our coach working in grade 2 for most of the time, but they may dip in and out of grade 1 or grade 3. With any good coaching, we will drop the environment to reduce the challenge and allow learners to focus on different elements of what they're learning, or we might increase the challenge to give them an opportunity to test their skills in a more challenging environment. So dipping in and out of grade 1 or grade 3 is fine, but we are seeing the coach working for the majority of the time in grade 2 because it's the best need, it's what their students need. So it's really important that we get that mix right. We've got good venues for them to coach at, and we've got students who need coaching in that space. A strong candidate could choose to work with a stronger group in more time in grade 3. That's fine, it's within remit, but I would encourage assessors to allow candidates to drive that rather than the assessor. So we're not insisting that they do. Rescue skills, so again, they need to be done in the upper limit. So we're talking about, again, grade 2 at the harder end. So obviously they need to be able to deal with real rescues that might occur during their coaching. But when we set scenarios, we're looking for spaces that give us safe, deep water, potentially in the midst of grade 2 at the harder end of the grade, or in the run out of grade 3. And it's really important that we use questioning to add evidence. Sometimes the scenario-based rescues are far less complex than a rescue would be in reality, because it's staged, it's set up, it's a bit more predictable, and we may make it easier to make it safer. So in those scenarios, it is really important that we add and we use questioning to supplement that with things like, what would you have done if this had happened, in a different space where perhaps it was more complex, or with different people in different places on the river. So we can start to just build a bit better picture of their skills. So for personal skills, we're expecting the candidate to be able to meet the assessment criteria in grade 2, solid grade 2, good grade 2 at the top end of its grade, the harder end of the grade. I've used the word acquired, but essentially if we look at the assessment guidance, it talks about efficient and effective skills, where we expect the candidate to be able to move around the rapid, make all of the eddies that are available, be consistent and reliable in their performance. Take that into grade 3, we'd expect them to be able to get through it safely. This might not look as efficient or as effective or as reliable or consistent. They may not make all of the eddies. They might choose the safest line down, the line of least resistance. They may get out and have a look. They may set up safety. So we're not expecting their skills to be at that same level in grade 3. The norm would be that if we did have grade 3 on an assessment, that we would run it rather than portage it, and we'd expect to see that good decision making around the grade 3. We might get portages if you've got somebody who's got those good solid skills in grade 2 plus, but the grade 3 rapid, it's kind of unreasonable to expect them to run it. It might be, for example, a whitewater canoe where the rapid is particularly narrow or twisty and turny or with lots of rocks in it, then it may be more appropriate for that level of paddler to be able to portage it. So that would be fine. But the norm would be, most rapids is, we would expect an easy line to be made and to be chosen and to be able to get. So in order to run a course, we need to have conditions that we need to have good quality grade 2 that enables coaching to meet the needs of the mock students. So remember, it's coaching for the majority of time in grade 2, maybe dipping in and out of 1 or 3 as the needs of the students determines. We also need safe deep water for the rescues and rapids at the harder end of that grade 2 for the personal skills and rescue skills assessments. Critical to all of that is the mock students. So it's really important that you get involved in the decision making around who the mock students are, talking to your candidates if they've set them up themselves prior to the course, so that we're going to the right venues to use. What we don't need is grade 3. So you can run a coach award assessment without having any access to grade 3 at all, and that is completely fine. So you could use knock and do on the Spey, which is a nice grade 2 rapid. You could use that as a site specific session or as a river trip down to it would be fine. If you are using rivers that have got grade 3 in them, in the spirit of that grade 2 brackets 3, something like the essay put in on the Tay down to Grantley, then once you get to Grantley, it would be the norm to use it to do personal skills and potentially rescue skills in the run out, potentially at the bottom. So both of those are good examples of venues that would work well. But like I say, you can choose sections of river that don't have any grade 3 in, and we wouldn't expect an assessment to run where there is a lot of grade 3. So remembering the definition is grade 2 brackets 3, normally 1 or 2 rapids. So we're expecting the majority of our time spent around that grade 2 space. And a final remark, this doesn't apply to leadership assessments. You do need grade 3 to meet the needs of the syllabus, and leaders need to be able to demonstrate that they can manage a group through or around a grade 3, which may well be portaging. So still within the spirit of that grade 2 brackets 3 definition that we've seen. Hopefully that's given you some clarity. Any questions, please do get in touch. Thank you.